right, so let's take a look at using the Go programming language with Virtual Programming Lab on eClass. All right, so I'm going to turn editing on here in my eClass page, and I will go and set up an assignment right here. I'm going to add an activity, and I'll add a Virtual Programming Lab activity right here. I'll name it, give it a short description. And typically it's a good idea when you're making assignments for students to give a descriptive name, a little short description. It can be helpful. And then the full description appears in different parts of the assignment. So you can put hints as to what the student should do, little tricks, and maybe links to resources. That's always a good idea. All right. Now we're going to use the VPL server in Spain to run the activity, but normally you'll want to make sure to run it on your local VPL server. All right, so next up what we're going to do is we are going to have to set up the different sort of things that are configured inside of here. So we go to the gear box, or the gear right there, we go to execution files. All right, and in execution files we're just going to put our test case. And basically what we're doing here is we're saying we want to look for the phrase hello world. So we're trying to match up the output of the student's program with the sort of the gold standard right here, the correct answer. And so we want it to look like this: hello world, a string. We save it. So now the evaluation cases are saved. And so we go back to the gear, and we're going to write up the requested file. And the requested file is the template that the students use to write their program. And it's important that you choose a correct name for the programming language that you're using. And that typically means that you have to have a good file extension. So in this case, .go for the Go programming language. And not being a Go expert or anything like that, I'm just writing up a little function right here. And you can see that there's different sections that need to be included. Now, unfortunately, I forgot what I was doing right here, so I had to go and look up a reference, and I'm going to write that in. So any syntax issues, any problems with the program will typically get picked up when it's compiled. At this stage, we're not going to do any compiling. We're just writing up the template for the student. So one trick here, especially with beginner students in a language, is to have an assignment that has commented outlines, and you ask the student to uncomment a line. And that's often a really good thing just to get them familiar with the tools. So I'm putting the print line function call right there. I'm saying that I want hello world, and I've saved it using the diskette icon. And so this is the template the students will use to run the program. They won't have to do anything. They'll just have to run it, and they'll see that it'll be correct. So next up, I've already done the requested files. Now I have to specify, or actually I already have. I've specified what the evaluation cases are, but I have to make sure that it's got all the right capitalizations, so it's a good match. And so next up, if you're using an external server, you have to use the local execution servers option right there. But right now I'm just looking at execution options. So I want to specify that I'm using the Go programming language in my run script. I want to have the run option available, the evaluation available, and automatic grade available, and then save. All right, back to the gear. I think I'm almost done here. Yeah, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to demo student. So I've configured Moodle to allow me to switch between instructor and demonstration or fake student mode. And I'm going to have, like students would do, I'll have the fake student go into the gradebook and take a look at what I haven't been graded for. In this case, this Go example. And there's no mark assigned with it. So then I click on the activity, I go in here, take a look at it, I hit the save. This is the template that I'd saved earlier. I hit the rocket icon to run it, to compile and run it. I get a hello world in the console. That's fantastic. Now I hit the check mark to evaluate for grades. And so this is the typical workflow that students are supposed to follow. And if there's no mistake in here, and it matches with the prescribed content, then we say that it passed. We're good to go, and the student will receive 100 out of 100 in the gradebook. So we'll go take a look at that right now. So we can see that if we go down here to the bottom, sure enough, we've got 100 out of 100. The student got full marks for this assignment and got a little bit of summary in the feedback column as well.